I think Yuri might be watching too much Sci-Fi Channel. Today's topic is the floating disk, a marvel of engineering devised by an army of mind-controlled scientists. First deployed by Yuri in the mission codenamed Trick or Treaty, Yuri shocked the world by unveiling his new deadly weapon of war, levitating disks modeled after UFOs from popular science fiction. General Carville was heard to exclaim, "Holy cow, Commander! We got some kind of UFO on the scope. Either it's an alien invasion, or Yuri has been watching too much TV." Fortunately for Earth, this was not the Skrin invading. But unfortunately for the Allies or the Soviets, the threat was not a whole lot less deadly. The weapon, flying above London's parliamentary building, used no known propulsion and terrified the astonished onlookers by explosively vaporizing a GI who had popped up from behind cover. It traveled across the River Thames nearly silently, apart from the audible hum of generators and a spark of amps spooling up the laser for another shot. These terrifying weapons were used many more times across the war in nearly all environments, even being used on the moon in the Soviet victory timeline. Larger than F-16 Hornets and Grizzly tanks, these hulks measured out at around 10 to 15 meters, or 35 to 42 feet in length and width, and likely weighed in at dozens of tons. With no visible engines, the flying discs could reach several hundred miles an hour in speed and target and execute individual infantry units among large groups, as well as put neat little holes in armor platings of tanks, AFVs, and buildings. Its laser was powerful enough to reduce a human to jelly and detonate the ammunition of tanks in repeated hits. But how does it do this, and where did Yuri get his idea? Well, a full biopic on Yuri will have to wait for a time in the future, but I believe that the answer to the latter question is a combination of his time in the Soviet Union, access to their technology, as well as the knowledge he would gain from looking in other people's minds. Here's what I think happened. As Yuri rose through the ranks in the Soviet Union, he would mind control various people to gain access to their repositories of knowledge, and over time he would begin to make his bones by helping to develop many of the majorly advanced Soviet war systems, such as the terror drone and the cloning machine. The second machine would be majorly helpful for his future plans, as he would use this machine to create mastermind tanks, which contain the brains of many, many clones of Yuri, spliced together to create a vehicle capable of mind-controlling many different vehicles at the time. These vehicles, prior to being used to try to conquer the world, would instead be used as devices to research concepts that normal scientists find difficult to breach or unethical to study. One such technology has been in the IRL headlines recently that I think has accelerated the development of the terror drone, as well as many other technologies the Soviets were working on later related to the war, is room temperature superconductors. This technology is vital in creating computers small and efficient enough in the era that the game is set in to create something as truly sophisticated as the terror drone, and perhaps the power technology used in Tesla Tech. It's also important to my theory about how the floating disk functions. Around 4 or 5 years ago, I ran into an article about an experiment that was done to realign magnetic fields in magnets to support different shapes. My theory is, and once again take into account that I am not a scientist, but a science fiction writer and reader. The theory is that the floating disk uses powerful magnetic fields to either repel itself from the Earth or lift itself up, causing the floating appearance. Perhaps both explains how it can do what it does. Speaking with a colleague about this led to the idea that could explain how it could fly both in space and disrupt the power of buildings. Strong enough magnetic fields can disrupt AC power flow, making it useless for the base it is a part of and potentially depowering an entire base. And by shaping the magnetic fields it projects to hone in on specific objects in the distance, it can pull itself along in different directions at speeds we might not expect it to be capable of. And all of this is made possible by the development of room temperature superconductors. A secondary theory that is just as valid is that Each disc contains a Yuri Prime clone that is capable of telekinesis, of lifting and directing a disc across the battlefield. This could explain both the money transfer and the depowering of the base, as Yuri flying with the disc could mind control the people inside the building to depower and transfer credits. I hope you enjoy the video. If you have any idea that might strengthen or reduce the strength of my argument, or you just want to start a conversation, please comment it down below. If you come up with something real great, I will host it as a follow-up video and credit you heavily. If you like videos about the Tiberium universe, Red Alert universe, or in the future, the CNC Generals universe, then why don't you hit subscribe and hit the bell icon. I post once or twice every 2 weeks. If you really like the content, consider supporting the channel by sharing the video around, or by making use of either the Patreon link or the Amazon affiliate link. No pressure to do either, I love you either way. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.